Part 1. The Vanishing Trail. Everyone in the nearby village knew about the woods. Dense, quiet, and always colder than it should be. Kids were warned never to go too deep, but every once in a while a story would slip through about the hidden house that only some people ever saw. It was said to appear when you were lost, when you were most afraid, and when you entered, you didn't always come back out. Lena, a university student, arrived in the village for a research project on local folklore. She laughed off the stories of the woods, chalking them up to small-town superstition. But one evening, she decided to explore, just before dusk, when the sun bled red between the trees. Hours passed. The trail behind her vanished. Her phone had no signal. The forest pressed in. She tried to backtrack, but every direction looked wrong. That's when she saw it. An old wooden house, barely visible through the brambles, like it had been stitched into the forest itself. Moss climbed the rotting porch. Windows were black with age. The front door was slightly open, creaking as if breathing. Lena hesitated, then stepped inside. Part 2. The Rooms That Shift. The moment she crossed the threshold, it felt like the woods outside had vanished. The air was thick, still. Time had no meaning here. She walked into a hallway. Old portraits stared at her. Their eyes looked painted, but something about them shifted when she turned away. The walls were too narrow. The light bulbs flickered even though the place had no electricity. Room after room, Lena searched for a phone, a map, anything, but each door led to a new version of the same room. Same layout, different furniture. One was a nursery, the next a dining room, then an empty surgery room with rust-colored stains on the table. And then she saw it, a girl, no more than 7, standing in the corner, pale, dirty, motionless. Wearing a white dress, her face turned away. "Are you okay?" Lena asked. The girl whispered, without moving, "You shouldn't be here." Part 3. The Echoes of the Missing. Lena backed away, heart pounding. But when she turned, the hallway had changed again. Longer, stretching endlessly in both directions. She ran. Doors slammed behind her. Laughter echoed, low, guttural, wrong. She passed rooms filled with dolls, piles of shoes, claw marks on walls. She found a journal, buried in a drawer. The house finds those who are lost. It shows them what it wants. It eats what it needs. Don't listen to the voices. Don't trust the girl. Suddenly, Lena remembered something. The girl from the portraits, the one staring from every wall. She hadn't aged in any of them. And now she was standing right behind Lena. Part 4. The House Never Lets Go. Lena screamed and ran to the front door, but it was gone. In its place was a mirror, and in the reflection, Lena wasn't alone. Behind her stood dozens of people, pale, staring, unmoving. Some were in modern clothes, some in clothes from decades ago, all of them trapped. The girl stepped forward and whispered, "You found the house. Now it will keep you." The last thing Lena saw before the mirror cracked was her own reflection starting to fade. Epilogue. Another missing person. The village eventually noticed Lena's absence. Her car was still parked near the trail. A search party went out. Nothing. Only her recorder was found, lying in the grass, still running. The last thing it recorded? A child's voice whispering, "She's part of the house now." 1 year later, Lena's disappearance remained unsolved. No body, no tracks, just her recorder still playing when it was found. Her parents had long given up hope, but her older brother Caleb never stopped looking. He was the kind of person who needed answers, not closure. And so, on the anniversary of her disappearance, Caleb came to the village alone. Armed with maps, survival gear, and Lena's last journal entries, he walked into the woods. And just like Lena, the trail eventually disappeared behind him. But Caleb wasn't afraid. Not yet. The house finds him. The deeper he went, the colder it became. Wind stopped. Birds vanished. He began seeing odd things. A boot half buried in leaves. A doll nailed to a tree. Scraps of children's drawings on bark. And then, there it was. The same house Lena described in her journal, just as rotten, just as quiet. Only, now there were more windows, and behind each one, Caleb could swear he saw faces watching. He hesitated at the threshold, but the door opened by itself. Inside, the house breathed. Echoes of Lena. Everything was wrong. The floorboards whispered underfoot. Clocks ticked backwards. Time seemed elastic. Caleb's watch spun in loops. In one room, he found Lena's journal, but it now had more pages. Pages she never wrote. Her handwriting, but filled with panic, like it was written from inside the house. "I'm still here, not dead, not alive. It's feeding on time, memory, me." And then, "Don't trust the girl. Don't follow her." At that moment, Caleb heard a child's giggle upstairs. The girl in the white dress. She stood at the top of the stairs, same white dress, same dirty feet, same long tangled hair. Only now her face was visible. She had Lena's eyes. "Are you my sister?" Caleb asked. The girl tilted her head, confused, then smiled. "You're going to help me." She turned and ran. Caleb followed without thinking. The house shifted around him. Halls stretched, rooms twisted, mirrors cracked. He saw glimpses in every reflection. Lena screaming, others clawing at unseen walls, something massive moving in the dark behind the walls. At the end of the hall, the girl vanished through a door that shouldn't exist. The heart of the house. He entered a circular room. Dozens of people stood in a trance, villagers, children, hikers, and Lena. Eyes wide, pale, motionless. At the center was a thing, not human, not fully visible. Like it lived between the walls, wrapped in shadows and whispering memory. It had roots in every wall, eyes where there shouldn't be. Voices slithered from its shape. It spoke without sound. She looked for truth. You followed grief. You both belong. The floor cracked. Time unraveled. Caleb was being pulled in, his memories flooding into the roots. Then, Lena blinked. She mouthed one word. Run.